It's incredible what people will get angry about. And like I was saying earlier too, the social justice warriors, they kind of have all the power in this because they get to make the rules. They get to decide who can joke about what. You see this a lot. I notice this with stand-up comedy. Some comedians can get away with being very edgy and doing very sort of controversial humor, while others, like Kevin James, if he does a joke about somebody being lactose intolerant, gets crapped on for it. And you don't know from one day to the next what the rules are, what's safe, who can joke about what, because it's completely arbitrary, and they get to make the rules up as they go along. And in some cases, it really affects people's careers. A lot of broadcasters have been fired or suspended for things. They make a joke that somebody decides to get upset by, thinks they went too far. It's people's livelihoods end up getting affected, and it's and I'm not saying that nobody who's ever been fired in that scenario. I'm not saying that no one doesn't ever deserve it, but not always.
Right.
We talked about, Brian, I think you're the one who originally told me about this example, and then I think I remember talking about it with John on the air. The ESPN analyst who made the comment about during is it Serena or Venus Williams, the twins?
I'm sorry, I don't recall. I don't recall which Williams, but
one of the Williams sisters, yeah. And during the tennis match, I forget the name of the analyst, but he made a comment about how now she's turning on her guerrilla game, using guerrilla tactics. That's what it was.
Your guerrilla tactics, which is in Sun Tzu's Art of War.
Right.
And he was just pillaged.
You can't say something like that. You're asking to get taken down. You're asking a beating.
That's serious.
Even though we know it's Guerrilla.
I disagree.
I disagree as well.
Well, have you served in the? That's ridiculous.
It's not even the same word.
Sure.
So it's not even the same word. So if you're
who cares?
English language is such, and you're so big about words.
You don't say gorilla when you're talking about an African American. Come on.
Well, apparently he had used the phrase before.
How about disrespect? That's what the values.
Respect.
Right
you
there.
don't
it's
say
about
something
basic
like that.
Respect.
Would they say it about that Russian, the 6'2" what's her name? I used to watch all the time.
But why is it his fault? And this guy lost his career over this. Why is it his fault that the rest of that some of these SWJs don't understand that there's a difference?
mean?
Social justice warrior. Or SJW rather.
Okay.
They don't.
Why don't you have a black person in here and you tell them that? Let's bring somebody in.
Just give them my phone number, have them call me Matt, and then I'll come back on the air with you.
Yeah.
Well, anything you do to water down a human mind, and that's what they want.
You know what, Brian?
That's what they want.
Brian, I sat with a guy dying over 3 days, a veteran last year, who was the victim of our racist society. A guy that was in Patton's army. He was at the White House with Kennedy, with LBJ, with Nixon. Racism deformed this man's life. It drove him crazy. And so, yeah.
Well,
yeah. Okay. So
go ahead, Brian.
Yes, because that's somebody I loved. It's like who's like the uncle I never had.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well,
racism.
and no one's saying that type of racism doesn't exist. What we're simply saying is that when some of it has to be based on
97 is out.
And even the ESPN analyst said that was never my intent. Guerrilla tactics mean just that: rushing the net, dropping back.
Did he use? So he used that with the whites, right?
Now, if he had turned out,
so he said that with the whites. Answer the question:
right?
Did he say that with white people? You are. So what military were you in?
He was on record saying that.
What military were you in?
So you don't think, though, John, that the typical, because you asked me, would I say that in front of a black person? I like to think that the black friends I have are smart enough to know.
What black friends do you have?
Are smart enough to understand context.
What black friends do you have?
Oh, John, I'm not going to get into a stupid.
That's a legitimate question.
Anybody can say that.
That's a legitimate question. You want me to sit here and name off my black friends?
No.
That's asinine.
We would like you.
I've never seen a black person here or in your show.
I apologize. Look on my Facebook. You'll see black people.
No, but I've never seen a black person here.
That's the most asinine way to argue about race. Oh, tell me about your black friends?
Well, I know. Yeah.
What an asinine thing to say.
We need a referee, sure.
No, you need
a judge.
I told you.